Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Wednesday Wisdom. My name is JB Hilliard, and these are weekly video snippets of information designed to answer quick questions you may have about estate planning or probate or any other legal concern you may have. And the more I get into different types of matters and cases in my line of work, the more that I learn as well. And I also learn a lot from your specific questions, so please keep those questions coming. But I thought it was very interesting, this tidbit of information I'm sharing with you this week about funeral providers and what they're required to disclose to you when you're having to plan for the passing of a loved one and you're making those funeral arrangements. There's a thing called the funeral rule, and this was created by the Federal Trade Commission. And when you think about it, you never really think that far as far as a government agency having oversight into what the funeral home folks provide you as far as the information and the pricing and things like that. But I wanted to just share just a little bit with you on that. And basically this rule, and I do have to read it, I want to give you the right information verbatim, but this rule basically requires funeral providers to give you as the consumer accurate and itemized price information. And there's some other disclosures too about the services, the goods and services they provide you. Specifically, it prohibits providers from misrepresenting legal, crematory, and cemetery requirements. It prohibits them from embalming for a fee without your permission as the consumer, without your permission. It prohibits them from requiring the purchase of a casket for direct cremation, and it prohibits them from requiring you to buy certain funeral goods and services as a condition for furnishing other goods and services to you. And then other deceptive and unfair practices, of course, are prohibited as well. So you as the consumer, when you're going into a funeral home to talk about, to have that difficult discussion about, what type of casket you want, what type of burial, what type of program, if it's a cremation, what type of urn, all those types of things that go on in that discussion, these providers must comply with this funeral rule. So you are protected by the Federal Trade Commission. They are to provide you a specific price list. They are to disclose anything that is going to be an extra fee outside of whatever package that you decide upon, all of those types of things. So another interesting thing that I saw there was that the FTC conducts undercover investigations every so often. And they do cite those providers who are not non-compliant with the funeral rule, and some of those citations can be upwards in the tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, per incident. And so they're really, really tightening up on that and wanting to make sure you, the consumer, you are protected. And so I thought you should know that. I actually didn't know that before, the last couple of months that kind of came across my desk. And so it's good to have that government agency on your side if you're the consumer. So just keep that in mind if you're ever in the position to have to plan for someone else's funeral. Of course, that's a difficult step to take and difficult conversation. But don't be afraid to take somebody along with you in that conversation or to that meeting. Don't be afraid to, if you're already working with an estate planning attorney, don't be afraid to ask the attorney to go with you or anyone else that would be helpful in making those decisions or advising you on those decisions you need to make. And don't feel pressured to buy anything or sign up for anything that you don't feel is necessary. There is a nice, a pretty good introductory video on the FTC website, and I'll put that right down here for you to look at. But if you ever have any questions on what the FTC does in this area, please feel free to go to their website, ftc.gov. And again, you can look down here to see the specific link for the funeral rule information. So I hope that's helpful, and as always, I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.